Since the beginning of the pandemic, children have been largely spared the worst health impact. The same SARS-CoV-2 virus capable of killing a 50-year-old might leave a 4-year-old unscathed. However, scientists are still struggling to understand how the virus affects children and whether kids can spread it to their older caregivers. According to the University of North Carolina, scientists do not fully understand why multiple kinds of coronaviruses have different levels of severity across age ranges. It's also unclear how easily kids can spread the virus both to each other and to adults. According to the South Korean Center for Disease Control, one robust study of nearly 65,000 kids showed that children in the 10 to 19-year-old range spread COVID-19 just as effectively as adults. And according to the same South Korean Center for Disease Control, only 2% of the domestic COVID-19 cases have occurred in children under the age of 18. After this, the debate to reopen schools began in the US. A countable number of schools across the world have either stayed open or have resumed in-person instructions. Israel took stringent steps early on in the pandemic, including severely restricting everyone's movement and closing all schools. The schools reopened in the month of May with a staggered schedule and strict measures. But soon, COVID-19 cases surged with school children and teachers among the sick. Sweden never shut the schools. Only students who were 16 or older stayed home with remote learning. Till now, the Swedish pediatricians have only seen a few severe cases among school children, and only young children are believed to have died of the novel coronavirus. Japan, which has mostly kept COVID-19 under control, took a conservative approach to reopening schools in the month of June. Different schools have different strategies, but generally Japanese students attend classes in person on alternating days so that classrooms are only half full. Lunches are silent and socially distanced, and students undergo daily temperature checks. Uruguay was one of the Western Hemisphere's first countries to send its students back to school using a staggered approach. In late April, Uruguay reopened schools in rural areas where the student population is small. In early June, it brought vulnerable student groups back to school. Then all students in non-urban areas went back to classrooms. Uruguay's successful pandemic response comes despite its proximity to hard-hit Brazil, where schools continue to remain closed.